Okay, so we're going to go right into the conversions within the imperial system. So often we'll see things like this with imperial, 6 feet and 7 inches, right? So if we're converting 6 feet and 7 inches to just inches, which one of those do we actually have to convert? The 6 feet. Okay, so if we're converting 6 feet, we have 6 feet times, I need to change my thickness here. Driving me crazy. Times, okay, so we're going to use unit conversions, unit analysis. So what will go on the numerator? What you want goes on the numerator. So when we multiply, we want over what we want divided by what we have, the unit we have. So currently, what unit do we have? Feet. Feet is what we have, 6 feet. And we do that so that the feet unit will cancel out. Make sense? But we have to fill in the numbers before they cancel. So what's the relationship between the inch and the foot? So let's look at this. 12 inches is 1 foot. That's probably one you should probably know off the top of your head. But if not, it is there. So 12. Oh, it'd be nice and no. 12 inches is 1 foot. That's better. So when you multiply this, you're going 6 times 12 divided by 1. Do you really have to type in divided by 1? No. You're really just going 6 times 12. Right? Anything divided by 1 is itself. So 6 times 12 is 72. I need to check. 72 inches. Now, is that the total inches of this individual who's 6'7"? Could you imagine? 6'7"? No. So what would I have to do now to get the total inches? Add 7. So it'd be 72 plus 7 or 79 inches. Okay, I'm just going to press this. How many feet are in a yard? 3. It's right here. Right? Okay, so we should have had 5 yards times. So we want feet, we have yards. And it's 3 feet for every 1 yard. So that equals 15, giving us a total number of 17 feet. Okay. So let's move on to going the other way, because this is where it gets tougher. If I want to figure out, if you're 51 inches, you measure your 51 inches and you want to figure out how many full feet and then how many yards left over. Okay? Sorry, how many inches left over. Thank you, not yards. So there's a few ways we can do this. We need to know the ratio of inches to feet. That's the first thing, right? What's the ratio? 1 to 12. So when you multiply, if I did a conversion here, inches is what we want to get rid of, and we want how many full feet. Okay, we want to first figure out how many full feet will go into 51 inches. So what's the ratio for feet and inches? 51 inches is 1 over 12, right? So when you type this into your calculator, do you have to have the 1 in this case? Yes. Or you could either type it as 51 times 1 over 12, or how else could you type it as? 51 divided by 12. They're the same thing. Multiplying by 1/12 is the same thing as dividing by 12. Same thing. So when you type this in your calculator, it's not going to give you a whole number. So times 1 over 12, or you could also go 51 divided by 12. It gives me 4.25. Okay? 4.25, what unit is this? Feet, because the inches cancel. This is 4.25 feet. So that doesn't necessarily answer our question where we want how many full feet and how many inches. Well, how many full feet will go into that? 4. So we know it's going to be 4 feet and so many inches. We need to figure out how much that is. So there's two options. We can take the 0.25 and work backwards and multiply it by 12, the decimal we have, and turn it back into, because it's just this part that we actually want in inches, right? Right now it's in feet, 0.25 feet. So you could take 0.25 and then multiply it by 12, go backwards. Another way we can figure out is, okay, well, 4 feet is how many inches? Do you know how many inches 4 feet? 48, right? Because what did I do to get that? Times it by 12 is 48 inches. So if 4 feet is 48 inches, how many were left over? 51 minus 48. So how many were left over? 3 inches. Okay. So we also could have taken the decimal and convert it back. So go 12 inches over 1 foot is the other way, and that also would have gave you 3 inches. The third way you can do this is long division. I'll get your question 1 second, okay? So with the other way we can actually do this is take, okay, so when we had what was it? It was 51 inches, right? And we were multiplying it by, there's 12, 1 foot is 12 inches, right? So really what we're doing here is 51 divided by 12. So with long division, you can use long division to figure it out too. So how many times does 12 go into 51? Well, we already figured that out. It was 4. 4 times 12 gives you 48. And what's your remainder? 3. So 4 feet, 3 inches. Okay, your remainder is how many inches were left over. So that would be 4 feet, 3 inches. That works too. I don't know if that's easier. Any questions? Yeah?
So on an exam, in order to get full marks, would we have to show this? Or would we be able to
A question like this?
Or would we be able to just go 51 times 12?
Sure.
Like, so in any of them, we don't necessarily have to show, like...
Most like conversions is such a minor part of this unit. I know we're spending a lot of time with it. It'll probably be a multiple choice type thing, where you're doing a couple conversions and then adding them together. Or if it was a written, it'd be worth 1 mark. So if I didn't see your work, that's okay. So if you can figure this out without the work, that's fine. I just need you to be able to convert. Certain things, like I need to see the work. Conversions, I don't. All right, so try another one. 73 feet to yards and feet. So there's a few ways we can do this. So we want to figure out how many full yards are in 73 feet, right? What's the relationship between yards and feet? Good. So feet, is it going on the numerator or denominator? Denominator. 3 feet is 1 yard. So we can do long division if you want, right? We're taking set 3 and dividing it into 73. That's one method. Do you remember long division? First, how many times does 3 go into 7? Twice. 3 times 2 gives you 6. We subtract, which is 1. Carry down the 3. How many times does 3 go into 13? 4. Because 3 times 4 gives you 12. We subtract and get 1. So our answer is going to be 24 yards and 1 foot. Okay, so I'll show you that in a second. So that's with the we do long division. Okay, gives you the answer right away because you can see your remainder. How many were left over? 24 full yards, 1 inch was left over, or 1 foot. 1 foot. Okay. The other method is if we multiply. When you multiply, you get 24.3 repeating, right? So we know that there's 24 full yards, and the 0.3 repeating is what you need to turn back into feet. Okay, so the 0.3 repeating the decimal, so when you multiplied, an easy way to get the decimal, just the decimal, so we had 73 times 1 over 3. Subtract off the 24, because we already know there's 24 full yards. And now I have to go backwards, so now this time, what are we going to do? So we want to convert it back actually into, because this is in yards, I want to convert it back into feet. This time you're, multiplying by 3. So 0.3 repeating times 3, guess what that equals? 1 equals 1. Long division is almost easier if you know how to long divide, right? So 24 yards, 1 foot. Like this works too. But do you want to try the next one by yourself? Okay, try F. So 4,215 yards, and you want to convert it into how many full miles and then how many yards left over. There's multiple ways you could have solved this. When you multiply it by 1 mile over, so the unit for mile is mi, because you don't want to confuse it with meter, right? If it was just at an m, then it looks like a meter. So mi is the unit for mile over 1,760 yards. When you did that, you get a weird number, right? You get 2 point ... Okay, so you know how many full yards is that? 2. So there's a few options on your calculator, okay, that we can do. So some of you might have gone, okay, 1 over 1760. So that gives me 2 full miles. We need to figure out how many were left over, how many yards were left over. You have 2 options, okay? One option is to subtract off the 2. So you just have the decimal, and take that decimal and convert it back into yards by multiplying by 1760. Okay, so 695. The other option is you could have gone, okay, 1760 times 2, right? There's 2 miles, so that means we've used up 3,520 yards. And then what could I do to figure out how many was left over? Subtract them from what you had. Oops, let's try that again. There's a 0 there. So 695. That works too. So if you know it's 2 full miles, I figured out, okay, how many yards is 2 full miles? Well, that was 3,863. Nope, 3,520. So if that's how many is here, I can now figure out how many left over by subtracting off the original amount. And that works too. Might make a little bit more sense in your heads. Go. That's fun. So if it was 2 point...
2.8, like, if it was like 2.8, would you round it to 3?
No, you'd still be, how many full? Only 2 full. And the 0.89, whatever it was, is the leftovers. So how many full whole units?
And do you need to know the chart, like how many miles there are in a foot?
Well, you get this formula sheet on every test, including your midterm, final, unit exam, quiz. You'll always have this one. So everything that's on that paper, you'll get. So you don't have to memorize them. Okay. So we're basically always going to use unit analysis for conversions, and I'm just going to stay with that type of conversion every time. Okay? Stay consistent. So if we're converting 0.4 miles into inches, so what I want is inches, what I want to get rid of is miles. Now here's a problem. If you look at your formula sheet, is there an inch to mile? Nope. There isn't. Oops. Let's erase you. Go away. Doesn't want to erase. That's okay. Okay, there isn't. There isn't an inch to mile. But what is there? Okay, well, we don't want to go over to the metric conversions. We want to stay in imperial. So there, we can go inch to foot, and then we can convert foot to mile. So we have to do two different conversions. We have to do two things. There's no inch to mile. Oh, there is an inch to mile. Oh, you're so lucky. I think we added that in after the fact. There is an inch to mile. You're so lucky. That means we don't have to do two conversions.
I was like, if
woohoo! Okay. Hooray! So, how many inches are in 1 mile? 63,000. I need your help. 360? Well, that's easy. What's 0.4 times that? That's close. 25,000? Inches. And our unit that is left over, these cancel, so we're left with that inch. We didn't even have to do a double conversion. You're so lucky. Don't worry, it'll come. Don't worry. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the next page. One more page and we're done. Yeah. Do you have a homework question? Sure, we'll take. Oh, can I take it after? Okay. Okay. Let's go down here. So we want to convert 5 feet 10 inches into meters. Okay, what's the first problem we have? They're different units. 5 feet 10 inches. Definitely not my height. So we need to make them all the same unit. Yeah. It's no joke. So converting, what's easier? Converting the inches into feet or the feet into inches? Feet into inches, because then we're not going to have a decimal. Okay? Feet into inches. So let's convert the 5 feet into inches. So inch over foot. What's the ratio? 5 times 12 over 1. 5 times 12 is, do you know your times tables? No, 60 inches, giving us a total of 70 inches. So adding on the 10, that's 70 inches. So now we can do our conversion into meters. All right, so let's look at our conversion table. Mine's getting really messy. I don't know how to undo. Nope, don't know how. There's got to be a way. Anyways. Undo. Oh, that's all I can do. Okay. Oh no. So we need to go from inches to what? Into meters? They want inches into meters. Is there an inch to meter? No. So we're going to have to go inch into centimeters to start. Oh, look, a double conversion. Let's start by going inch into centimeter. So, inches go on the numerator or denominator? Denominator, centimeters on the numerator. And what's the relationship? 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch. You have two options. We can figure out the centimeters first, and then just use the King Henry's daughter Mary, right, the metric line, and move the decimal point. Or, if you know the ratio, we can also write that in. How many centimeters are in 1 meter? Yeah, this is a pretty easy one. So we can just add it in. Do it all in one step. There are 100 centimeters. And notice I put centimeters on the denominator. Why? I want it to cancel out. So their inches are canceled, and now I want centimeters to cancel, one on the numerator, one on the denominator, so I'll be left with meters on the numerator, which is what we want. I type this in, 70 times 2.54 divided by 1 times 1 over 100. Or it's the same thing as multiplying by 2.54 and then dividing by 100. Because the 100's on the denominator. So you could also type it in as 70 times 2.54 divided by 100. Same thing. Yay, we did it! 1.778, I think. Thanks. All right. This guy, I like this guy. 2.0573 meters into feet and inches to the nearest inch. All right. Now what? Okay, so let's look at our chart. We want to go into feet and inches. We have meters? Or do we have centimeters? Thank you. Probably, right? Because is there a meter to inch on here? No, so we're going to have to convert it into centimeters first. So, where am I? I'm right here. Okay, so let's convert this into centimeters. So we have meters times, what's the relationship between centimeters and meters? 1 meter, meters on the denominator, is 100 centimeters. Okay, so now that that's going to give me centimeters, right? Because meters will cancel, we'll be left with centimeters. Now we want to convert centimeters into inches. So centimeters are going to go top or bottom? Bottom. Inches, what we want on top. And there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. And notice the centimeters will cancel, we'll be left with inches. Now obviously that's not our final answer, but we need to get it in inches first, then figure out how many full feet will be in that. So let's calculate that. Oops, calculator, nope, calculator, there you are. 2.0573 times 100 times 1 over 2.54, or you can just go divided by 2.54. 2.0573 times 100 divided by 2.54, same thing. Okay, to the nearest inch, what is that? 81, because they want to the nearest inch, 81. Okay. So now we need to figure out how many full feet go into 81 inches, right? So let's do that. How could I do that? Yeah, 81 divided by 12. So if you multiply by, there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So really we're doing 81 divided by 12 to figure out how many full, 6.75. So how many full feet? 6 feet. Now there's 2 options. If we know there's 6 feet, you could figure out, okay, well 6 feet is how many inches? That's one option. 6 times 12, it's 72 inches. So if 6 feet is 72 inches, and we have 81 inches, how many were left over? 81 minus 72, 9. Or you can take the 0.75, multiply it by 12. This is feet times 12. And that would also give you 9. Okay, good times. I don't know. What was it? 72? Yeah. Do we do the last one? Or do you feel ready? How do you feel about word problems? Are you saying let's just do homework just because you feel ready, or are you saying it because you don't like word problems? Yeah, okay, we better do it then. Yeah, right, everyone hates her. But you need to, okay, it's reading. It's reading comprehension is really what it is, right? Before the digital age, which was like when I was born, video was often made on different types of film. That was when I was a kid, yep. 16 millimeter film was often used in industrial or educational film. That's how, when I was very young, watched movies. 16 millimeter films are now being transferred to DVDs and other digital forms of storage, which is kind of outdated now, because now it's just being digital, completely digital. No more DVDs even. Who has like DVDs? We got rid of all ours.
We still have yours.
We still have VHS.
Yeah, all our old.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's called.
Because I
But like, yeah.
get everything on Netflix.
Oh, then there's some of us that have
Oh, well that's what. Yeah. Okay. If 1,500 feet of film can fit on one DVD, how many DVDs will be needed for 2,183 millimeters of film footage? Okay, well, first off, what's wrong? Looking at these two units. They're not the same. One's in feet, one's in meters. Which one do you want to convert? Do you want to convert the feet to meters or the meters to feet? Feet to meters. Okay. So, 1,500 feet times. Is there a feet to meter conversion on your formula sheet? Is there? I see a foot to centimeter. And then centimeters to meters. Okay, so we have to go feet to centimeters. 1 foot is 30.48 centimeters, I think. Yep, 30.48. And then how many centimeters are in a meter? 100. So that would allow the feet to cancel and the centimeters to cancel. All right, type that in. So times the 30.48, and I can either go times 1 over 100 or divided by the 100, because 100's on the denominator. That's why. You get the same thing? No? Yes? 457.2 meters. So now if I want to figure out how much film, it should be one more step. What is it? If we know this is how much can fit on one DVD. 457.2. Yep. Divided by 457.2. Yeah. Yes. What did that give you? Yeah. Got it. So that when you divide it, what does that give you? 4.777 blah blah blah. So how many DVDs? No, not 4. You need 5 DVDs. Even if it was 4.1, right? you need 5 DVDs then. So you can use four DVDs will be full. One DVD will have it won't be full of data, right? You can't have half of a DVD. Like you either use it or you don't, right? Yeah. Nope, you'd round it to 5. Because you'd still need 5 DVDs to get all that footage properly on. Back in the day, we used to like make floppy disks. And like when you had a program, it had 5 or 6 disks, right? So 5 of the disks might be full, the 6th disk might only have a little bit on there. You still need it to get the whole program downloaded back in the day.
Is it so?
I'm dating myself.
Can I just so for word questions, is it all in context? So whatever, and then that kind of determines whether or not you can round it down or not.
Yes, it depends on how the word problem is. So in this specific example, we wouldn't round down. We'd always round to the nearest, like up. If there's any decimal, we round up to the nearest whole number every time. But it's only in the context of this type of question. Yeah. We're done. Yay. So your assignment. Okay, circle the following. It's a lot. Well, I don't know if it's that much. Next page, 153. So all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can omit 9, omit 10, omit 11, omit 12, and then 13, 14, and 15. Circle those ones. Yeah. So it's mostly the entire assignment. But we have lots of time today. Yay. Yes, and I'm going to take homework questions for those.